Hey, I'm Chad with Morristown Tire and Performance. Today I'm going to talk about some of the myths and things that I hear people ask me about, things I see online. We're going to debunk some of those things, or at least find the truth. A lot of people say premium fuel is always better to run in your car, which it is true, but it's kind of a waste of money sometimes too. If your car has a low compression ratio and it calls for regular gas, then running premium fuel really doesn't give you any more advantages. In my own cars, I never run anything less than 89. Just because of the detergent packages that are put in it. Engine oil should be changed every 3,000 miles. Now this was true back when all oils were conventional and that's what the cars were designed to run on. Nowadays, with all the different oils and the detergent packages in those oils, then changing your oil every 3,000 miles isn't always necessary. If you use a synthetic oil, I recommend you can take that up to 10,000 miles. However, you want to make sure that you're using a good quality synthetic oil and that the car is made for that. Here at Morristown Tire and Performance, we use a synthetic blend oil, which is our lowest oil. We don't have a conventional really on hand. With that synthetic blend oil, you can go 5,000 miles. We set our stickers for 3,000 though, because everybody goes over. So should you warm up your car before you drive it? Well, older cars, that was true and you had to wait for the choke to close and open and all that stuff. But now with modern injected cars, you don't really have that issue. They will run right as soon as you start them. It's always good to let your car warm for just a few seconds before you drive it. You don't want to have to let it sit there and get completely to operating temperature. But letting it warm up just a little bit lets the oil get warm enough to flow properly. Washing your car with dish soap is fine. Now, you can wash your car with dish soap, it'll clean it just fine. But dish soap has all kinds of things that are made to break down grease and things like that. That will break down the wax and the protective layers on your car. So if you keep your car waxed and you keep it protected with the clear coat, then you want to use a wax that's made for that so that you don't strip that off. Inflate your tires to the maximum pressure that's on the tire sidewall. I have heard a few people say this, and it's not a good idea. The cold inflation pressure that's on the tire is the maximum that it's rated for. Your manufacturer has specified what pressures that car at that weight and those alignment angles are designed for. You can find that in the door jamb on a sticker that shows all the tire specs. A dead battery can be fully recharged after jump starting just by driving. Now this is not true. When your car battery dies, you can charge it by driving. The alternator will charge it. But alternators in modern cars have a control on them to save on fuel emissions. So if that car battery is completely dead, your alternator is not going to charge it back up 100%. It's also bad for the battery itself to be charged that fast. If the car battery is completely dead, you're better off to hook it up to a trickle charger and bring it back up slowly with a 2 amp or so charge. If the car battery is dead and you have to jump it just to get away, that's okay, but you really need to trickle charge that car battery back up with a 2 amp trickle charger. To bring it up slowly, it keeps the acid in the battery stable and doesn't heat the battery up recharging. If your brake fluid's low, just top it off. Now, a brake system is fully sealed. So if your brake fluid is low, it either means you have really low pads or you've got a leak somewhere. So really the brake fluid level indicator is not just to when to top it off, it's when to service your brake system. My car says it has lifetime transmission fluid, so don't need to service it. Now, the manufacturer will say this, that you have lifetime fluid. My background in BMW says the transmission is lifetime fill, but you'll usually find in the small print somewhere that says or 100,000 miles. While you have a lifetime fluid, it does have better detergents and it can carry the sediment further, but it doesn't last the lifetime of the car. So it is always better to service that at 100,000 miles. There's not any fluid in any car that I would push past 100,000 miles. They don't make them like they used to. I hear this all the time when we tell somebody there's something wrong with their car and they used to have an older car that nothing ever broke, they say. Things on older cars broke. People just didn't realize it because the cars just weren't as dependent on their accessories and their systems as new cars are. Older cars, people didn't drive as much. They didn't go as far. You know, your car you had in the 60s, you weren't going to put 200,000 miles on that car. So now there were some extreme cases. Newer cars are made with better tolerances and they do last a long time. Some of these newer cars, I mean, we get them in here all the time, 200,000 miles. They've only had a few small issues, but the main powertrain is working. And I mean, automatic transmissions in these newer cars, sometimes we see those 150, 160,000, not a problem at all. So this point could be debated for the rest of the day. But overall, newer cars do last longer. Low mileage used cars are the best ones to buy. Now, it sounds good because the cars had less wear, less use, so it's had to have not gotten as worn out as the high mileage one. The only problem is sitting is really hard on a car, especially modern cars with adjustable valve timing and actuators and things like that in the engine. These things haven't been used. They haven't been actuated. They don't have oil in them. That stuff dries over time, and things like hoses, belts, stuff like that all dry out from not being used. That is a point that could go either way. However, I would rather have a very well-maintained car that was driven on a regular basis than one that just sat around for years. Now, a car that was driven on a regular basis, they used it to go to the store every few days, that's okay. But a car that sat for months and months and months without being started, I'd want to avoid that. Is there a rational reason for not wearing a seatbelt while driving? You know, I've heard this argument before. People say, well, what if I were to be trapped in my car and I went off a bridge in the water or something like that? I can tell you're a whole lot more likely to get hit when you pull out of this parking lot here and go through the windshield than you are to run off a bridge and be trapped in the water. If you've ever seen a video, which you can go to YouTube and watch a video of an airbag going off, tell me you don't want to meet that thing in the middle either. I'd rather be strapped in my seat and have it come to me like it's designed. Thanks for watching. I hope this video answered some questions on some things that you've heard as well and debunked some of those myths. Remember to always refer to your owner's manual or consult a professional mechanic if you have any questions about your car's maintenance, or call us at Morristown Tire Performance. Remember to like and subscribe for more informative videos.